Hey guys, what's going on? It's Clever Techie, and in this video, we're going to be using regular expressions to parse HTML. Now, just a heads up, this video is going to be more advanced, so I'm going to be moving a lot faster than usual. So, go ahead and review this regular expressions cheat sheet or watch my other video on regular expressions if you're not very familiar with it before watching this video. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So, in this video, we're going to be parsing out IMDB website, which is an internet movie database. And I'm going to be using a website called regex101.com to test regular expressions against the strings to make sure we're matching them correctly. And I've also decided to have all the code typed up before because otherwise it would take many hours to show this video. So just to keep things short, I'm just going to be explaining what all this code means. Okay, so the first thing I like to do when matching the content from a website like this is to identify the search string from which to match the content from. So this URL here is just showing a bunch of movies that were released in the year 2000, and I'm starting my search on page 1. Okay, so you have all these elements like the title, the year, the description, director and stars, votes and gross, and the image name. So we're going to be matching all this content. Now the problem is here we're going to be using a prag match all function, which means we're going to be matching all the elements at the same time. Now if I go to the later page, for example page 76, it's going to be missing a lot of that content. So that makes it a little bit more tricky because we can't just match all the elements individually. We're going to have to match a block of elements. For example, here we're going to have to match the movie runtime, genre, and the IMDb rating all at the same time, and then check if any of those elements are empty. And if they are, we're just going to set the array value key to an empty string. Okay, so let's look at the code now, and all this is going to make sense, hopefully. So first thing I'm doing is I'm loading up the page 76 of the search results, and I'm storing everything inside the result variable. I'm also creating a new array called movies, and I'm just making it an empty array. Okay, so the first match is I'm matching the movie title. So this is the regular expression here, and I'm going to go ahead and paste that regular expression inside the regex101 engine. And I'm going to search for this little string here inside of the search results of page source. I'm going to go page source, and I'm going to search for that. So since we're on the last page here, page 76, and we're matching this part of the HTML, it's showing 50 results, which means all the movies, there's 50 total movies that are showing up on the page. As you can see, it's showing up 50 results. And this result is being matched 50 times. So that means it's a reliable way to match the actual title. So that's why I'm using this string, this regular expression. So if I paste the actual HTML here, you can see that it's in fact capturing it as a group 1, which means it's going to store it inside of our array under key 1, and it's capturing the actual movie title. So you can see here under regular expression, I have the little text. Then instead of the TT and this number, I have a dot star question mark, which means it's just going to capture anything. So anything that's there is going to capture it, and this number is going to change. That's why I'm using the regular expression in this way. Then I have the regular little text, and then I have a new line break here because there's a new line. And then I'm capturing everything that's between the A tags inside the basically using the same thing as a dot, star, and question mark, and capturing using the round brackets, and that creates the capture of the movie title. Okay, so now that we have made sure that the regular expression works, let's actually go ahead and print our movie's name just to see that it's in fact matching all the movie titles. And in fact it is. There's 49 of them since the array key starts with 0, so there's 50 total elements, and it's matching all the titles. So now we're ready to move on to the next one, which is the year. And here's the regular expression for the year. I'm going to copy that inside of the regex engine. And also I'm gonna find this particular HTML on this page. I'm gonna go to search, and once again it's matching 50 elements, which means it's a reliable way to match the year name from the source code. And this is a really easy one because this is the HTML. It's always going to be the same, and the year is inside of the round brackets inside of the span tag. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this text, and as you can see, it's matching the year name under group 1. So here what happens is basically I'm using a /d curly brackets and 4, which is going to match any 4-digit number because the year is always going to be a 4-digit number. And this is just a different way of matching content instead of using the usual $*?. And the reason I put $*? Here is because there might be some space in between here. Sometimes for some reason they put a space there, so this is gonna take care of that. Okay, so let's go back to the code and let's print the movie's year this time and see that it's matching all the year names. First of all, I'm going to delete this, refresh the page, and in fact it's matching all the year names, and there's 49 elements, which means there's 49 total array keys. Okay, so it's matching all the year names. Okay, next up is going to be the match image URL, and this one is really easy. It's load late equals, and then the image name is between the double quotes. Okay, so I'm going to paste that here, and again, it's matching it 50 times, which means it's a reliable way of finding these elements. And so this is the actual string, and inside the double quotes, we have the actual image URL. So I'm going to paste the code here, and I'm going to paste the regular expression as well. And the regular expression, oh yeah, it ends with a double quote. Don't forget that. Okay, so it's capturing the image URL under group 1, and this is super easy, so let's keep going here. And okay, so this is where it gets a little bit tricky. Instead of matching single elements, we're now gonna have to match the HTML block, which is going to have certificate, runtime, and genre. Now, the actual block is going to be found on every page, but any other elements inside the block, like the certificate, runtime, or genre, can be empty. And that's why we're matching the whole block together, and now we're creating a loop here to loop through that matched block. As you can see, we're using match in the count match1 to loop through it. And now we're using the same prag match function. Instead of prag match all, we're just matching it once. And now we're searching for those individual elements inside the block, which is certificate, runtime, and genre. And if any of them are empty, so if this if statement fails, then we're just going to create an empty string in place of that element. So let's identify this HTML block first. Let's search for it inside the actual page, and as you can see, there's a space here, and that's the reason I put a space as a regular expression here as well. So make sure to put that space here, and as you can see, it's matching it 50 times, which means again it's a reliable way to search for that string. So I'm gonna go ahead and copy this block of text inside of the test string, and I'm also gonna copy the whole block regular expression inside the regular expression engine. And also make sure to set the single line parameter here, because we're going to be matching multiple lines on this regular expression. Okay, so it's matching the runtime. All the other elements like the certificate and the genre are empty, and it's capturing the group 1 as this HTML. So you can see the runtime here, space class equals runtime, and that's the next regular expression that we're going to be using inside the loop, which is this. So I'm going to copy that, and it's matching number 75 from the block inside of the loop. So I'm using a 2-digit number, which is going to run to, or 2, 3 means 2 to 3-digit number. So the movie name, runtime is going to be a 2 to 3-digit number. And it's matching that number and it's putting it in group 1. So this is what exactly what happens here. Runtime is matched, and then I'm putting inside the array of runtime. So the same thing happens under all the other elements. And in fact, if I go back to page 1, source code, and I search for that text muted block, you'll see that all the elements are going to be there. So now all the elements are here, and this is our block. So you can see the certificate, runtime, and genre. If I paste this code here and then use our original regular expression to match the block, you can see that the block is still being matched, and now all the elements are going to be there. And as we go through the loop, it's going to find all those elements. So again, this is just to account for the empty elements, and when they're empty, it's just going to create the empty string for those elements. So let's go ahead and test this out right now to see what we have so far. I'm just going to print out the movies array, and I'm going to run the script, and we'll see what we have. So okay, so let's first delete the year here, so it's not printing that. Refresh the page. Okay, so we're searching page 76 now, and there's going to be a lot of empty elements. So all the titles are found, all the years are found, all the images are found, and now we have a certificate. And as you can see, it's got all those empty elements, and it's only got a certificate name for one of the movies. Same for the runtime, it's got some of them, others are missing. And under genre, some of them are missing and some of them are found. But what's really important here is we still get 49 elements. We still get 49 elements. We still get 49 elements under all the key names, which is really important because that matches the content up with the movies, and all the key values are going to be matching because empty content is going to be empty for those movies that the content is missing for. So I hope this makes sense and it's not too confusing for you guys. We're just matching the block of content, and then we're going through individual elements and matching them inside the block. Okay, let's keep going here. Now we've matched all of that stuff. Okay, so next up is the IMDB rating, and that one can be also empty, but this HTML is not going to be empty, which is a block that we're going to be matching. So we're going to search for that block, and as you can see, it's found 50 times, so that's the block that's going to be found. And we're going to be searching that block until the span tag, until the closing span tag, which is here. I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste that here, and I'm going to copy and paste the regular expression inside the regex engine, and as you can see, it's matching all the content inside of it, inside of our ratings bar span tag, or rather div and the span tag. And the actual value that we're looking for, which is the IMDB rating, is inside this data value, and it's this number here. So this is exactly what we're doing. We're matching the whole block, and then you can see here data value equals whatever is inside the data value. So if I paste that regular expression here, you can see that the value is being matched under group 1. So that's working. And if it's not found, then it's just going to be empty. So again, the same principle as here. We're matching the block first to account for the empty values, and then we're creating an empty string if the element is not found. Okay, let's go ahead and keep moving here. This time we're matching Metascore and description together. So we're going to search for this particular block here. Let's go ahead and go to here. Okay, so you can see that this block is in fact found, but if I go to page 76 and search for that particular block, you can see that the block is not found at all. So if I copy this whole regular expression inside the engine and then I go to the page where it's actually found so we can test it out first. So I'm gonna go to page 1 of the results and then view page source, search for the block, and our regular expression goes until the closing p tag. So it's going to be until this p tag. So this is a Metascore and description matched up together. Okay, as you can see, it's matching the favorable keyword, which is what we want, and I mean it's matching this number here, which is the Metascore, and it's also matching this paragraph as well, which is the movie description. Now, I've made this tag optional using the round bracket and question mark. I made this whole HTML, which I'm highlighting right now in blue. All of that thing is going to be optional by enclosing it in the round brackets and putting a question mark at the end. Because like we've seen on page 76, this block wasn't found at all. So that's the reason I'm doing that. And the text that will always be found is this p class equals muted, text muted. So if I go to page 76 from here, that block is always going to be there. So if I search, we still get 50 results, and this is the block here. So even though that block will always be found, the Metascore block is not always going to be found, and that's the reason we made it optional using the round brackets and question mark. Okay, so that's how that works, and then we're looping through the whole thing, matching the Metascore using its HTML, and we're also matching the description of this video using the p class text equals muted, and whatever text is inside the p inside the p paragraph. So if I paste that here, I'm gonna escape this. As you can see, it's matching the movie description and putting it in group 1. So at this point, let's go ahead and print the movies to see what we have so far. And I'm just gonna go to page 1 just to see what kind of content we have. Okay, so it's matching all the movie descriptions, 49 elements. We're matching all the favorable stuff, Metascore, and we're matching the IMDB rating as well. Okay, so all of that is being matched correctly. So now we're ready to keep moving. And actually, if I go to page 76, just to see why we have those empty elements and block matching, you can see how a lot of these elements are now empty, but it's still going to match up with the movie names so that our array keys are all matched up together and we're not mixing up all of our content. So some of the elements are going to be found, others are going to be empty. As you can see, there's only a few descriptions here in this array, but it's all working great, so we're ready to move forward. Okay, so next up we have directors and stars. And this is the same exact principle. We're matching up the block, which is p class equals empty string. And if I go back to page 76, because that's the page with less elements on it, if I go to view source and I search for that element, as you can see, it's matched up 50 times again. And this is the element with empty content inside of it. So it's a reliable way, again, to match the stars and directors, because that's where stars and directors are going to be found. If I go back to page 1, and search for the same string, you can see that the directors and stars, in fact, live inside of this p tag. So I'm going to go ahead and paste it inside of the test string. And for the regular expressions, I'm going to paste this block here. And as you can see, it's matching the directors and stars block. Next, we're looping through the block and we're looking for the directors first. So let's see if that works. We'll have to escape all the text here. Okay, so you can see that the director's name is found, and it's matching the whole thing and putting it in a group 1. So the director name is matched correctly. Now for the stars, let's see if the stars works. Stars match, and it's matching the stars content as well. Now it's matching the stars content, but it's matching all the HTML with it, and that's the reason I'm using prag match all to match all the stuff that's between these empty HTML tags. So if I paste that here, so now what it's doing is matching individual star names from that content. So that's why I have another prag match all here. And now what I'm doing is I'm using an implode function to get all elements inside of the stars and put them as a comma separated strings inside of our stars array. In a similar way, I'm cleaning up the directors by replacing all the HTML that was matched along with the director names using a prag replace function. And what I'm doing is I'm replacing all this HTML along with a closing A tag, and that gives us clean directors. And I'm storing inside of our array directors. So now let's test out and print our just directors, and also print our movie stars, just to make sure we're getting everything right. View source, and all the stars are matched along with the comma separated values, and all the directors are also matched with comma separated values as well. And this is also accounting for all the empty elements. So some of them are empty, but we still have 49 elements inside the array, which means everything is working great. Alright, so that's it for the movies, directors and stars. And the last one is going to be votes and gross. So these are the elements down here. Here you can see votes, there's no gross, which means it can be empty. If I go back to page 1, votes and gross, all these elements are found. So again, in this last one, it's actually the trickiest one of them all, because either votes can be empty, gross can be empty, or both of them can be empty. So this is why I wrote this crazy looking regular expression here, but it's actually really easy to understand. So let's go ahead and break it down now. Okay, so if I go ahead and search for this p class equals sort num votes visible inside the HTML on the page 1, you can see that the whole thing is found, right? Okay, and it ends with a class equals lister item mode advanced. So that's the end of the regular expression string, and that one is a start. So I'm going to paste the whole thing here. Okay, at this point you can see that the block of votes is found, and the block of gross is also found. Now, I am making both of them optional, because on later pages, like on page 76, they're not going to be found. So you can see that I've enclosed the votes visible in round brackets starting here and in here, and I put question mark at the end. I've also put a round bracket here and ended the round bracket here, enclosing the gross and putting a question mark as well, making it optional. Then I have the two div tags, and I'm ending everything with div class lister item mode advanced, because this is the only HTML that's going to be found on the page when it comes to matching these blocks. Now there's another dot star question mark after the optional votes block, because there can be some empty space left over if the block is not found. So I'm accounting for that using this. So if I deleted this part now, you can see that the other content is still being matched because it's optional. And that's what's our regular expression is doing. It's pretty smart. It knows that they both can be optional. And if I remove this part now, it's still matching the content, but in this case both of them are empty, and so our array key values are also going to be empty. So you can see how that's been done, and I'm just storing everything, all the regular expression inside the regex variable, and I'm just putting it here in the prag match all, so it's just a different way of using the regex if you have some complicated regex like that. So then I'm matching it against the result, and I'm storing everything in match. And then I'm just using a loop, just like we've done in the previous examples, matching up the votes and matching up the gross, which are both inside of these span tags, and that should be pretty self-explanatory. Okay, so at this point we're ready to print out the whole movies array. Let's go ahead and see what happens, and we're going to be using page 76 to view all the movie stuff that we've just matched up. And hopefully this page is going to load up, because sometimes IMDb lags a little bit, so it can take some time, and I don't want to make this video too long. Okay, so now if I go to view source, we got all the movie names. There's 49 elements. We got all the years, also 49 elements. Image, 49. Certificate, there's a lot of empty ones. In fact, there's only a single certificate that's found, but we still have 49 elements. Then we have the runtime, 49. Genre, 49. IMDb rating, 49. Metascore, it's all empty, but we still have 49 elements, which is perfect. Description, we only have a couple of descriptions, 49 elements. Directors and stars, and votes and gross. So we have 49 elements, which means all the regular expressions are working, and that's how you account for the empty elements, by using regular expressions, by matching up the blocks and then creating a loop to loop through the match, and making sure that all the empty elements get their own values, which are empty strings, so you don't mess up the content in that way. Hopefully this video wasn't too confusing. If you guys want, you can download the source code in the description of this video and play around with this regular expression stuff a little bit more, and post any questions you might have in the comments. I'll make sure to answer them promptly. And if you guys found this video useful, please go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Clever Techie out. Oh, I forgot to say something. Please make sure to watch the next video, because we're going to be saving all this content in a MySQL database. And it's going to be my first MySQL PHP tutorial, where we're going to be designing a MySQL database and making sure that we put all this content in the database, and then we'll be able to display the whole thing on our webpage. So I'll see you guys next time. Clever Techie out.